The area owned by the Huron-Wendat First Nation was originally called the Bush by early settlers. George Davis laid the first bricks to set up his stagecoach house in 1874. At that time, stagecoaches could only travel for very short segments of stages, typically 10 to 15 miles. So they needed to stop frequently at coaching inns where horses could be changed and travelers could get some rest and sleep if they were lucky. As the city grew, so did the patrons. Benjamin Hinchcliffe, who is known as the original founder of the Brunswick House, bought the shop from Davis in 1874 and built it into a two-story rough stone 30-foot building with a separate stable. He used proceeds from selling land that he owned on Chestnut Street to assemble a package of properties on which the construction of the Brunswick House began in 1874. The population of the city was growing rapidly, from 30,000 to about 80,000 in 1874, and the hotel originally served early immigrants, wagoners, and laborers who were looking for lodging, food, drink, and a place to stable their horses. The tap room was also used as a ballroom and meeting room under the name Hinchcliffe's Hall. Around the same time in 1874, Alexander Mackenzie became the second Prime Minister of Canada. Louis Riel was barred from taking his seat as a member of the House of Commons, and Alexander Graham Bell showed the earliest prototype of the telephone to his father. At the turn of the century in 1908, Edward Jackson bought the building from Emma Drury and her husband and commissioned the renowned and established architect Wilson Siddall, who had previously designed the St. Lawrence Market, to design a new Brunswick House, replacing the old building with a new three-story building with large windows, molded decorations, and heavy cornices. In 1920, the Brunswick Hotel was purchased by Kate Davidson, who renamed it Ye Old Brunswick House. Under the Ontario Temperance Act of 1916, a time we now know as Prohibition, Davidson was fined several times for selling beer that had more alcohol content than allowed in the years before the act was repealed in 1927. The Brunswick House was purchased in 1961 by two brothers, Morris and Albert Nightingale, and managed by Albert. It became known for its cheap beer. The encroachment of the University of Toronto campus in the 1950s set the stage for a new era known as the Nightingale era in the history of the establishment. The youthful crowd from the university brought in an animated period of live jazz and blues music. The attendance became so large that additions to the building became required, leading to the creation of Pickle Alley and Albert's Hall. Pickle Alley hosted pickle eating contests and the Mrs. Brunswick pageant. It was during this time that many famous world-renowned musicians played at the venue, such as Cab Calloway, Etta James, Buddy Guy, Katie Lang, Oscar Peterson, Muddy Waters, Jeff Healey, Gordon Lightfoot, and Loretta Lynn.